Yep. Yep. Hey, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Good Germs Off-Road Adventures, and welcome back to Billy Badass. You know, when you're doing any sort of project, whether it's a car, a truck, an off-road vehicle like an ATV or a quad or a four-wheeler, or maybe even a side-by-side or UTV or Arctic Cat over there, you know, they're just never quite finished. Billy Badass here, perfect example. This brake reservoir, master cylinder, well, it leaks. And it's also this plastic design, which I'm not a big fan of, and eventually it's just going to quit working. So we're going to go ahead and replace this, change the grips out, because, you know, I may have broken this one when I was installing it, maybe, and put some handguards on it, but not the handguards you would think. If you looked around the shop, you'd see all the other Polaris, all of the other quads in here have the Polaris handguards on them. Billy's going to get a little something different. Stick around. Here's a little closer look at this wonderful, not so wonderful brake lever master cylinder design. And it, you know, it's got a plastic lever. These things, I'm not a big fan. They're kind of a funky shape, but this unit, at some point, I know it's going to fail. Every machine I've had that had this unit on it, it has eventually failed. And when it fails, what usually happens is the lever becomes increasingly hard, if almost impossible, to pull it, and yet it doesn't stop the machine. So we're going to change this out for a different design. Now, somewhere around about 2007 or so, Polaris went from making their own brake master cylinder, their old brake assembly, and they went to the HB USA. I think it's HB USA. We'll find out in a moment. But they went to a different design, and it is much better. And you can see we're looking at Dusty here. We know that because it says Dusty right there. And you can see a metal lever. I think it's probably aluminum. Different reservoir. It's just a completely different design. These seem to be a lot more reliable and a lot better. The brake lever is a nicer feel. It's also a little longer, more leverage, if you will. But you know, those are expensive. They are, well, they're really expensive if you get the original part number. So I went on the Amazon website and I found this one. It's from a brand, I think it's called Mati. Is that what it says in the box? Yep. Mati. Stable Power Sports Parts Maker. Look, there's no confusion about what they make. They make stable power sports parts. Did it really say stable? Is that what it says? It surely does. It says stable. I've used one of their units on the 500 Sportsman I was working on not that long ago, Captain No Brakes. Of course, it was a different design. I went with the more OEM style design for that quad for the owner. He wanted it just back to normal. So I put the other design, and that one had a plastic reservoir and a plastic lever. But look, it worked perfectly fine. No issues putting it on, no issues getting them bled. They work good. So we're going to do the same brand, but this design, we're going to go put it on, which means we got to take the old one off first. First thing I'm going to do is just crack this banjo bolt. Is it a banjo bolt? Sure it is. We're going to crack it loose. We're not going to take it all the way off. I just want to get it nice and a little bit loose for now. Then of course I'm going to take these screws out. And these are a Torx T30, in case you're keeping track. Probably should have gone ahead and emptied the reservoir first, because that would have made a lot of sense, but apparently that's not the order we're going to do it in today. Nope, I want to make it hard for myself and have fluid going everywhere. Speaking of that, do not be afraid to go in the house, go into the bathroom, open the cupboard, and grab some bath towels, you know, in case you spill brake fluid on things. Brake fluid it'll eat the paint right off of pretty much anything. So we're just gonna, obviously plastic isn't painted, but we're just gonna cover everything up here with one of the bath towels out of the bathroom. That'll be just fine. Okay, back to taking this apart. Okay. Yep, okay. And there we go. Point that upwards like that, so that way the fluid just runs all the way down. You know, and you can tell it's been leaking out of the top because all the paint's missing. Like I said, the stuff will just eat the paint off of pretty much everything. There we go. Well, I just went back in the house and took a Tupperware dish, and I'm just going to set this kind of in there for now and put it somewhere else. Slide our new one in here and go ahead and get that started. What's nice about this unit as well, when you face the reservoir straight up and down, it actually puts that brake lever at a nice little bit of a downward angle, which is just good for the ergonomical things. And I'm also not really going to tighten this up very much. Just want it to be on here for now. I'm not going to tighten it because we've got other things. Like I mentioned, we're going to be putting hand guards, and you have a mount that, well, there's various mounts, and we'll have to check that out. So I just want it to be enough to not move so we can do the bleeding of the brakes. I think that'll do for now. Well, it's still not very tight, and that's okay. This, we can just let that hang. We don't need to worry about that right now. Let's take the new banjo bolt out. And up here, we find that this is a Torx 20. They're not very tight because you wouldn't expect them to be. There's nothing in it. And there we go. Got it opened up now, obviously, because it's open. And we're going to put brake fluid in it, and we're going to proceed to bleed this in a fairly easy way. Now, Polaris doesn't take any real fancy brake fluid, just DOT3 is good enough. I'm going to put my finger over the hole here, and I'm just going to fill the bowl. And I didn't think this through because what I need right now is a rag. That's fine. Now they make kits that you can do to make this easier on yourself. I probably should have picked up a kit, but I don't do this really all that often. So now I'm going to take another towel. I'm going to kind of drape it over the headlight here. I just don't want all the stuff shooting on all the things. Okay, so now I'm just going to pump the brake lever. You can see the bubbles coming up, and I can feel some pressure getting against my finger. So I'm just going to pump it, kind of let my finger off, finger back on, do it some more, and I can feel pressure, finger back on. The key is I don't want air to come back in the bottom when I let my, when I go to cycle this thing. And you can see we just squirted some brake fluid. Like that. There we go. We're squirting it everywhere. That's great. There we go. I think we're pretty well bled now. So now I'm going to reach around the backside, take this, plug it in, just get it started. That's great. And then of course, because what we're putting on is made in a Asian country, it's a metric size. This one happens to be 12 millimeters. And I'm going to get this good and tight because I want to make sure those copper washers seat nicely. And now I'm going to get some brake cleaner and clean all the mess off. Shop grade Windex to the rescue. Okay. Groovy. And that's pretty much it for installing this. Let's put some more fluid back in here. And I don't have it sitting perfectly flat, so it's kind of not lovely. Can I make it flatterer? Nope. That's just going to be what it is. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on for now just to kind of seal it up so we can move the quadrungs. We need to jack it up so we can bleed the brakes. And also I'm going to need to reset this lever so it's more level. Okay, it's not very level because I've got it pushed in kind of far, so we need to pull it out. And we just have stuff hitting stuff, which is why. There, let's set it there for now. Okay. Been going up. We're going up now. Moving up and going up now. Oh yeah. Oh no, we're gonna fall off the front. Hold on, let's redo that. Oh no, what has happened? A tragedy has befallen me. Okay, here we go. Try it again now. Well, why does it keep wanting to fall off the front? Try that again. Do I just not have a good grab on it? That's what I think. Let's try it there. That seems awfully far forward, but whatever. Okay, try it again. Here we go. Coming up again. There we go. Moving on up now, come on. Oh yeah, all the way, come on. Come on, there we go, all the way up. Let's put the safety lock on. There we go, lovely. Yeah. Oh, yep. Never mind the creaking and popping here coming off the lift. It's just falling, you know. really what it is. Did you know you're supposed to bleed and fill the oil in these jacks these days? Yeah, I didn't either, but apparently you have to because it won't hold its own pressure, and I've got another jack that does the same thing that's pretty new. Anyway. Oh. Okay. There's brake fluid all over the floor over here. All right, so we've got enough tires off to be able to go ahead and bleed the brakes. Now you might want to be asking, hey Jezza, why'd you only take 3 tires off? Well, let me show you for those of you that don't know Polaris. I assume most of you watching probably do know Polaris, but for the 1 or 2 of you that don't, here you go. On the right rear or passenger side rear, you have the brake disc and you have a brake caliper, but if you look at the other side, you have neither. What Polaris has done, and they've been doing this for a long time, is they just put the brake on one side, you know, the axles tied together. It's a solid axle all the way across, even though you've got CV joints and they do the bendy thing. But you push the brakes, it happens here, and it stops everything on the rear axle. So we just bleed the brakes here, and then of course in the front, pretty much like you'd expect to do with anything else. So unless you have the proper tools, bleeding brakes, even on a ATV on the rear brakes, is typically a 2-person job. But I'm out here by myself, as I normally am, and I've come up with a method to be able to do it by myself. It's a little bit funny to watch, but here's what we do. So first you can see I've got a little catch can hooked up to the bleeder valve, and my wrench is already set on there, and I've already broken the bleeder loose just to make sure it was going to do that. And I've also already determined which one of these 2 bleeders brake lines it's going to be, and I know it's this one because it's attached to this brake line, which then comes up here, shoots across the side of the ATV quad 4-wheeler, goes on up to the front and finds its way up to there. The other one back here just kind of goes there, goes to the foot brake. I'm not worried about that. So anyway, this is all set up back here. I've got the handlebars turned kind of funny. Now with this, unfortunately, I can't fill this all the way to the top, and I've got the cap on it for now. So basically I put one hand here where I can reach the brake lever, right there. And then I reach way down here with the other hand, and I kind of lean down so I can look, and then I can operate that wrench. And well, that's just sort of how I do it. It's not the best, but it works. Okay, well here we go. Let me reach down here, get a hand on this, grab the thing. I'm going to do pump, 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 hold it, open it. Yeah, there we go. Pump, 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 hold it, tighten it, let it go. And that hose looks like it's coming off already because it didn't fit wonderfully on there. And I don't want to leave it just off. We'll be squirting it across the shop there, and I don't want to do that again. Pump, 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 hold, loosen, tighten. Okay, I'll do this one more time, and then I'm going to fill the reservoir back up. And look, that's just a rinse and repeat job. You do that, and of course we didn't get air at first because the air we introduced is at the very top. So we're going to do that until we get clean fluid, air bubbles out, and then we'll move to the front, and it's just the same thing all the way around. And just there you can see we got some air now. And I like to do this till I have several times of doing this without getting the air bubble. Okay, we've had like 3 or 4 in a row with no air. I'm going to give it one more and then we'll call it good. Yeah, that looks good. And you can also see the color of this fluid's a lot lighter than it was before, and that will tell you you're getting fresh fluid now compared to the dark stuff we were getting out earlier. Now the process for bleeding the brakes in the front is shockingly exactly the same. I know that doesn't seem right, but trust me, it is. Now I started in the back because you're supposed to start the furthest from the master cylinder, and then I'm going to do the left side front and then the right side front. The fronts, it really doesn't matter because the lines are exactly the same length coming off of a T valve thing. Look, as far as starting the furthest away, that's just what the book says. That's what everybody online says. So we'll go with it. I don't know the reason for that or if it's true or not, but I've been doing it that way and never once have I had a problem. So we just do it the way that we assume is the right way. Anyway, I'm going to do the fronts. Probably don't need to see that for a second and a third time. Catch back up to you when those are done. Billy's back on the ground with all the wheels installed. So next, I think we're going to go ahead and get into the grips. Now, in one of the videos, when we were trying to finish this project up, I was putting these nice ODI grips on, and I really like these grips. I may have got a little impatient with the left grip. It may was been a English. May have been a little tight trying to get on there, and I may have decided to take one of my orange dead blow handers and whack the end of it a bit, and it may have broke. It seems like that might be it. That is definitely not it. We are not all the way on yet. Oh, and my towel is leaving lint, and it actually is cutting that up a bit. And you can see, because it's just kind of hanging here, there's a plastic sleeve inside of here that makes it nice and tight. Well, it's just doing this. Not happy with that at all. So I'm going to change them. And unfortunately, I did not get the same grips, mainly because I wanted to get this done and they wouldn't be here for like a month for whatever reason. So I got a different style of grips. They're ODI, but they're different. Let me get you set up. We'll get these off, show you the new ones. All right, this should be, I don't know, it's like a 3mm Allen, 2.5mm, I don't know. It's an Allen wrench down here on the clamp. It's fine. There we go. Like I said, I'm really kind of bummed. I really, really like these grips, and I'm really irritated at myself. For just being impatient. Instead of figuring out why on this side it didn't want to go on, I decided to just whack it with a hammer. And now I can't get it off. Let me see if I can spread that clamp a little bit. Yeah, it's not even the clamp that's holding it on, really. Yeah. I've got the clamps nice and loose, but that doesn't want to come off. Well, can I use the screwdriver? Should I use the screwdriver? Oh yeah, that is working. Probably not the best idea to use my headlight / ignition / yellow button switch, but you do what you got to do. Oh, and be careful not to tear your hand up. It is coming. Why is it so tight? I don't know. That's why I beat it on with a hammer and broke it. Yep. Man alive. Well, there we go. Ooh, it's hot now. Goodness. I think I'm going to get a Scotch-Brite pad and you know, give it a how you doing. Okay. Just in case there's some extra debris on there. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to get this off because there is a flange that is attached to the side of this, and that flange is designed to keep this ignition headlight switch thing in a specific alignment with the old style brake lever. Well, we don't have the old style brake lever, and now that flange is in the way, so we're going to get rid of it. So we need to unplug the connectors. That's easy. Then in this hole, which sometimes this hole will have a plug on it, you can pop the plug off. There is a Allen set screw. This is a 1/8 size, in case you're wondering. Well, we don't want to tighten it, we want to loosen the set screw. And this set screw just kind of goes right into the handlebars. And then now we can take this off. And then now we can get this little plate off, and see this just lines up on a groove, and you can position it on different places in the groove, but this notch is designed for the old style brake lever to put it in a specific, we don't need it anymore is what I'm saying. Okay, now that we have more of this exposed, let's just take the Scotch-Brite and try to clean up more of it. Just, you know, a little bit. That's fine. Now I mentioned that we're going with ODI grips again, but this time we're going to go with these lock-on grips ODI Extreme. Different grip pattern, same nice pliable soft material. Red end caps because that's what they had. But the red should be fine. We've got some red on the quad here, like right there. These are lock-on both ends, so here and here. All right, so I'm just going to slide this thing back on, just shove it over there. Now for assembling the grips, you've got, I don't know, it looks kind of like that, and it does say Made in USA, which is kind of neat. I like that. This part goes facing down, especially on the thumb throttle side. Doesn't matter so much on this side, but we're going to do it anyway. Goes facing down, so we're going to line up these with the holes there and just kind of pop it on. Pop it on. Oh, click. You heard it on the camera. Click. Popped on. Okay. And for the other end, it's more of the same, but we have the neat little ODI name tag, and it just clips in, just kind of snaps in there at the end. We have the same things here, so we're going to pop those on as well, like that. And this should be ready to install. Hopefully it slides on a lot better than the old ones did. And it did. That's nice. And because we're clamped at both ends, you can see it shoved this over a little bit further, but I do believe we might be all the way on. Hard to say. Let's loosen the brake thing up a little bit and see if it'll move inboard a little bit. Oh yeah. Slide that in, see if this will go on anymore. It did. Okay. And then from here, it's as simple as we just tighten up. We just install the Allen screws and tighten them up. It does not come with an Allen wrench, but it takes the same size as the one we just took off. Or no, it doesn't. It takes a smaller one. Goodness gracious. Well, where did I put the Allen? Here they are. Okay, so it's even smaller. It's a 2.5 millimeter size Allen wrench you need for these. That's fine. Well, where is, oh, it's over here. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Okay. There we go. That's nice. And now we can bring this up against it, like so. Find the right wrench, whichever one it was. Was it this one? Yep. And we'll just tighten it back up. That's not the right wrench. This is the right wrench. Okay. Yep. Probably don't need to overdo it. Just do it enough. Perfect. And now we'll just do the other side. It's exactly the same. We have our new grips installed. We've tightened up the switch. I have not tightened up the brake lever yet because we still may move it. We'll see. And then of course on this side, the throttle, I had to just loosen it up, move it in. And I haven't tightened it up yet for the same reason that I didn't tighten up the brakes, but that looks good. And that is fantastic. Now, I promised y'all handguards, and I also promised y'all that they would not be the Polaris handguards like this. Now, I've got nothing against those. I like the way they look. However, you know, we've done some custom things on Billy here with the shift lever from Kimimoto and the Rock Tricks wheels and the big gun pipe. That's probably it. But anyway, we've done some custom things, and I figured, well, if we're going to put handguards on it, why don't we do something nice and special and custom there too? So this is what we're going with. We're going with the Power Mads, man. So these are the Power Mad Sentinel handguards. I got the all black mainly because I don't have a gray one. It would be really cool if they had a gray with black, but they don't. They have a red with black, but there's not enough red on this quad. I figured this probably is better. It says the vent cover snaps out right here. Probably no need for that. And rumor has it that the Polaris handguards are actually made by Power Mad. I don't know if that's true. I'd like to think it's true, so we're just going to pretend it's true and move on. It's oddly warm today in the garage. It's like 80 degrees in here, and I've got the big door shut because, well, the neighborhood's noisy today, and the light gets thrown off, and, well, I just didn't feel like opening it, so it's a little warm. So we just want to make sure that we're staying hydrated. Now, for mounting the handguards, we have a couple of options. Option A, we go with the Polaris handguard mounts that fit this style brake lever. Those are the same handguard mounts we would see on Ruby Sue, Darth, and Dusty. And they will fit, of course, now that we've changed the brake lever on Billy. Or we can go with the Power Mad handguards mounts for the Sentinel handguards mounts. Must be a Friday. Anyway, but both of those are expensive. You know, the Polaris handguard mounts, they're like $50 for the mounts, and the Power Mad mounts, they're like $50 for the mounts. And, well, that's a lot of dollars for handguard mounts. But I found, I know it's going to be shocking, I found basically knockoffs of both of those on the Amazon website, and we're going to see which ones fit. Maybe it might end up being a combination of both. I don't know. Let's check it out and see. Okay. So first, from the brand that we saw earlier, Imadi, we have the mounts that look just like the Polaris mounts. So this would be the one that goes around the brake master cylinder. Sort of in a this way sort of fashion. Pretty neat. And then of course, this is the one that would go on the throttle side, and it just goes, you know, this goes under the throttle mount, and anyway, and it comes with the necessary hardwares. Then in this side, we have the knockoffs for the PowerMad mounts, and of course we get all the hardware. You get spacers, so you can actually move the handguard in or out, like left or right, if you will. And then you have the mounts again here. Now these are a little different because they require space between things. It needs like a 1/2 inch of space here, and this can mount on the top and go over the brake lever. It can go on the bottom, go under it. So on this side it would probably go better here, but that would require us to have to move this in a, you know, in a that way kind of direction. And then on this side, kind of the same thing. It would probably mount best, you know, on the underside, but again, we'd have to mount it pretty far inboard, and it might fit there and then come out, and then we can do what we need to do. So I don't know which one's going to work, but we will try them. I think the first thing I'm going to try is probably going to be maybe the Polaris mount, because I don't know if I can get this brake lever to scooch inboard another 1/4 inch or so that it needs to in order to fit that. So I think we're going to try first the Polaris mount and see how that does. Okie dokie. I think we need, is this the right? Sure it is. We need to take away these bolts or screws, fasteners if you will. Give it to me. Give it, there we go. Stay, do not fall. I'm going to attempt to reuse them. This takes the place of the upper mount, and it looks like that might go deep enough to catch some threads. I don't know, I guess we'll find out. There's a very specific reason I'm going to attempt to reuse these, and that is that the screws that came with this that they want you to use, I think, are probably 1/4 20 threads, and these I think are 6mm threads. They're different threads is what I'm saying. Okay. And maybe they don't even line up. I don't know. Oh, maybe they do. Okay. Oh. We got the one started. Can we get this one started? Yeah. There we go. That's pretty good. And then let's bring it in. Yeah, let's leave it alone. Let's not tighten that up too much. Just leave it be, and let's see if we can make a handguard fit. Where did I put the handguards? Oh, they're over here. So then we have our handguard, and we can move this in and out. The problem is, see how wide that is. And with the PowerMad ones, we've got a channel that this would go in. But it can do the same thing. It can move in and out. So we should be able to accomplish kind of the same sort of deal. I think there's a bolt that this one comes with, and we can move it in and out with spacers. I don't really know. Interesting. Well, that might do it. Is there instructions? There's probably not instructions. Why would there be? No, there's a card. Oh, there's some stickers. I like stickers. That's neat. But there's no instructions. Okay, that's fine. We don't need them. We'll make it up. So I think most likely what we're going to end up doing is using the Polaris style mounts with PowerMad hardware. And I guess there you go. So we've got some all sorts of different, we've got some long bolts, and I think these probably go, you know, oh, I just dropped something, through like that and through there, and then we can use spacers to figure out how far in or out we want it. Oh good, I didn't lose it completely. Let's just put all the hardware here on the seat so it'll roll off and we'll lose it all. Yeah, maybe a tray. A tray's a good idea. Okay. These spacers are neat. Gonna need those for sure. Okay. Width-wise, this is about the same width as this thing. So a hair wider, so it probably will suit us quite well. Okay, now, like I was saying, we just need to figure out where we want this. And somehow make it work. So we can move it in and out. I kind of like it right about there, or just a hair off of there. So how do we do that? Well, let's see. What if we do big spacer, a big spacer, let's grab a little spacer, start feeding that through here, a little spacer, kind of like that, and then like that. How does that seem? How many little spacers? Oh, we have plenty of little spacers, so we can add another little spacer somewhere. Because that, I don't like that as much. I feel like I kind of like it right there. So that would be a little spacer on that side. Okay. Do it like this, so when we pull that out, we don't lose that little spacer. And can I have it back? And there we go. So it's big spacer, little spacer, kind of put it through there, and then another little spacer. What's nice is you get 4 of each of these sizes of spacers, so they must have imagined we were going to put it on a Polaris. I'm sure they did not. Okay, little spacer. Get in there. Oh, it's a nice snug fit. That's good. Perfect. Oh, that fits. Look, that looks and fits good. Okay, now we just probably need one of these washers that I just dropped. Where did it go? Good grief. Oh, here it is. Lovely. Let's just tip this down and you can see what we're doing. We're going to put a washer. Probably should put the bolt the other way. I don't care. It's fine. And the nut. And then we can just tighten that up. Well, I know it's going to be shocking, but it's metric and it's 10 millimeters. Let's tip this up to where we like it. Let's make sure we break it. We still need to tighten it more. Let's get, nope, where's my, here it is. Let's get this tightened up now. Is that good? Seems good. Yeah. Okay. And let's finish tightening this up. You know, these ratcheting wrenches, they're pretty handy for many things, and you can buy them at any store that sells them. Well, that looks pretty dang good. Let's go do the other side over there. All right, on this side, I think I am going to go ahead and use the Polaris mount again. I think it just is probably going to work better than the PowerMad mounts. So first things first, we're just going to go ahead and finish taking off the strap that holds the throttle where it is, which is just these screws, and they're oddly a Phillips number 2 head. Ow, my finger is stuck. Give it, okay, got it. And then this just kind of takes its place and goes there, and you have the same kind of deal here to mount it with. And it comes, these come with the hardware, but it's not a Phillips anymore. Now it's a Torx, whatever number this is, 20. That's fine. I don't remember the factory Polaris ones, if they come with the ones that are Torx like this, or if they come with Phillips. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter, does it? Because it's not what we're putting on. No, it does not. Okay, let's just finish up here. Oh, don't drop it. Okay, that's fine. We can go ahead and tighten that right now, I think. Try to tighten it somewhat evenly. That'd be swell. Unfortunately, those screws just go into plastic, so you don't want to give it everything. Okay, the other handguard. Honestly, I think we can do the exact same spacing here, where it's big, big, little, and then little on this side. I think that'll work just as good. Yeah. Ah, yes. Lovely. And washer in the nut. You know, back in my racing days, I had my Suzuki LTR 450. And I used to run PowerMad handguards on it as well, so I remember this process, and I remember liking it pretty well. And I'm looking for a 10mm deep socket right now to make my life a little easier, and I can't seem to find it, so I'm just walking away from the camera rambling as I look for a socket. Yeah, that's what's happened. Huzzah. Where's the ratchet? Okay. My tools are kind of scattered everywhere. I'm in the middle of a couple of different projects right now. Well, that's tipped as far up as it can go, but it seems to be correct. Okay. So anyway, I think I was just talking about, I used to run the PowerMads when I was racing. If I got a picture of that, I'll show it. We'll see. But that looks pretty good. That's another handguard finished. Now, let's have a look. See if we like it. Oh yeah, look at that. I like it. I am happy. They're a bit different than the factory Polaris ones. They're a little bigger, honestly. I think they'll be a little bit more protective. A little bit different shape, little space age. It's like little spaceship pods hanging out on the end of the handlebars here. Coupled with the new, ODI grips, new brake master, completely bled, ready to go. Yep, and then these apparently pop out. I don't know why you'd ever do that, but that's fine. Yeah, I'd say I like it. There's only one thing left that we're going to do today, and it is an important step to this process. Lovely. Well, that's just one more step to making Billy Badass a little bit better each time we work on it, at least in my mind anyway. Well, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, you are awesome. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me today, and I guess that'll do it. In the meantime, I still can't talk. In the meantime, goodness gracious, wow. In the meantime, y'all ride safe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye now.